Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Beyond Redox. I am extremely lucky today to be sitting next to these two lovely ladies. Dr. Andrea Borges, Dr. Maureen Hayes, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. This is a very, very special day for us, so we're super excited to be able to share another podcast with all of you today. I want to start with Dr. Andrea. If you could give everybody, for those of you that might not know you or your background, give them a little bit of an intro, a little bit of a bio of who you are and your experience.
Okay, so I'm from Brazil. My background is in biology. I did my bachelor in biology, and after that I fall in love with science and I start my scientific career. So I started my PhD and follow my scientific career with my postdoc. Okay, my PhD is in cell molecular biology. Also,
Try to say that 3 times quickly.
okay, yeah.
For those
Go
of us
ahead.
who can't say it.
You wanna
No, I
try?
don't want to try, but that's incredible.
Okay, cellular biology
Yeah.
and developmental biology. So I also worked a little bit with placenta.
Oh, wow.
And at that time, I also studied something related to redox and placenta. So I started my redox passion early that time.
You heard about redox at that time?
Yeah.
Or learned about redox?
It was
I
last
shouldn't say heard.
century, actually.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes. That's when I finished my PhD, last century.
Oh, wow.
Well, after that, I did a couple of postdocs and work in different parts of the world, like in Germany for WHO, Rockefeller Foundation, and I'm with ASEA finally.
Yeah.
For
Lucky us.
3 years.
Yeah.
I started right before COVID hit.
Wow.
I started the regulatory, and then I moved to the science department, and here we are.
And the topic of redox for you is not anything new.
No, actually, when I started at ASEA, I started researching and doing a lot of deep search into redox.
Yeah.
And I discovered that that's a whole new world, right, Maureen? And I actually discovered my new passion, which is actually redox, this
Wow.
redox world. So redox is, because it's everywhere,
Yeah.
and my background is in biology, so I can mix everything together and get a good mix of redox.
Yeah. Well, we're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
And we're also very lucky to have Dr. Maureen Hayes. For those of you, the few that might not know you, give them a little bit of an intro.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's really an honor to be here and be here with both of you. My background is I'm an anesthesiologist and pain specialist, and I was double boarded in that. And I actually got my medical degree in the last century too. It took me a minute to catch up with that. I was like, what is she talking about? Like the 1800s. But yeah, I've been a doctor for quite some time. But I had actually gone back into training after practicing for a number of years. Had sort of an integrative practice because I wanted to get to the root cause of different challenges that people were having. So I got certified. I was certified in acupuncture, then got certified in age management medicine. But that was at the time that redox was introduced to me and my family. And it's funny, my husband, who's also a physician, he's a pediatric anesthesiologist and stem cell researcher, and has a whole bunch of credentials after his name. He was also in the military and came back from Iraq on his last tour of duty with a devastating diagnosis. And a friend happened to introduce us to this. And we started taking the product while I was in training. And when I finished my age management certification, I decided instead of going back into practice that I was going to be a full-time redox educator.
Wow,
It was
I
something,
love that.
yeah, it was something I had never heard of. In fact, the only reason I did a deep dive was because 2 people without a medical background were telling me about it, and my ego got in the way. But the more I looked into it, the more fascinated I became with this, cellular biology and biochemistry and all of it. And at that time, that's been 10 years. There were only about 6,500 references to it on PubMed. Now there's tens of thousands. So it's really a burgeoning field of science. But it's so exciting to be a part of it and to just keep discovering more and more aspects of it.
Yeah, well, we're grateful that you've chosen to be a redox educator because it truly has been able to help share this incredible science and technology with the world. So thank you for doing that. I had an opportunity. Part of the reason why I wanted to have this podcast today and the thought around it was I recently had a podcast with Henry where we talked about the cell performance line. Now, I got to tell you guys, the more I learn about cell performance, the more I fall in love with these products. And one of the things that has been really exciting to me about it is we talked about kind of an overview of the different ingredients and some of the benefits and some of the things we've touched on. If you haven't listened to that podcast, I highly recommend you go and check it out before you move on to this one, because there's going to be some references we do to it today. But I really wanted to take a deeper dive into some of the ingredients that are held on these products. And more specifically, let's talk about cell performance mood and what it can do for people. Now, there's this topic that we've shared around, we've teased it a little bit, if you will, when we've had some of the people that have come here through the corporate office, but we talk about some of the benefits it can provide and yield from menopause. So can we talk a little bit more about that? Dr. Andrea, tell us a little bit about kind of where does the correlation start, or we identify that some of the ingredients that we have with cell performance starts, and then some of the studies that are out there that can help support that as well.
Yeah. All of the ingredients in cell performance, they are backed by science. And if you want to talk specifically about mood,
yeah,
also mood ingredients, all of the ingredients, they are backed by science. We have the powered by Redox ingredients that are basically GABA and L-tyrosine. Those ingredients, they will act in the cells. They will help our cells, our body, to play the functions that we want, that we are looking for, but they're also helping through redox pathways, which is really, really important, and it falls into our world, which is this amazing redox world. And the other ingredients are blended ingredients like ashwagandha, rhodiola, afron, the vitamin B5. Am I forgetting anyone? No, I think that's all of them.
You got to count them. There's so many. You got to count them. Yeah.
And those are blended ingredients that will actually act and play their functions for what the product was designed and formulated for. But so we have two kinds of ingredients. The powered by Redox ingredients that are the redox ingredients and the blended ingredients. However, the powered by Redox ingredients, they will also play a function in our mood.
Interesting. Now, and I'm going to take a little bit of a step back here. For those of us who may not be as familiar with the topic that we're addressing today, which is menopause, Dr. Maureen Hayes, can you help understand, give it just kind of high-level overview as to what it is? Because I think we all have people in our lives, we've all been in, there's association to it, even from a male perspective, that we will have people in our lives that are experiencing some of the things that are part of life,
right,
and that people experience on a regular basis. So can you help us kind of give a high-level overview as to what is menopause?
Yeah, sure. That's a period in a woman's life, usually around the 40s, mid-40s to mid-50s, where the reproductive hormones start to decline. And it's a transition period. We call it the change, right? I don't know what you change into. Maybe a little bit of a monster for a little while. Because those fluctuations actually can affect us in many, many different ways. People feel they might have hot flashes, they might have disrupted sleep, they might have mood swings, different things that they're going to be experiencing. And this is all part of that transition. And it actually starts with what they call perimenopause, which can even start earlier than the mid-40s. And what you see is a fluctuation in the menses. Maybe it's not coming every month on time, or what we usually call a woman's period. You're not really in menopause until you've skipped that for a full 12 months. And that's what we talk about. And then postmenopause is once you've actually gone through that change. But what's really interesting to me, I was just having a conversation the other day with some women who were clearly postmenopausal, who were still complaining about having some of those different feelings of night sweats and hot flashes and mood swings. And I thought, wow, people really suffer with this. And, there's been so much talk about hormone replacement. Is it good? Is it not good? What different things are you more inclined to experience disease-wise once you've gone through that change? So this is a topic that people don't like to talk about, they kind of steer away from because it's personal. People don't want to be reminded that they're going through this. And I can remember, like it was yesterday, feeling like I was going to spontaneously combust, you know, and it can be really embarrassing. I can remember going to a patient's bedside and I would just start profusely sweating from my head and turning bright red, and the patients would be like, "Are you okay?" I'll be like, "I will be in a minute." So it can be really uncomfortable. So yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned that it's a topic that people don't like to discuss because it's something that I would say every woman experiences at some point in their lives.
Yeah.
So I think having a conversation, and those of us who are on the other side, right, as spouses of some of these individuals, we have to be able to have these conversations and these topics. We have to be able to address them.
Because you have to be very patient.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm taking notes of this conversation just so we're clear about what we're talking about.
Yeah, you got a few years, but you know, really, and what women go through, even just identifying that the fact that their reproductive years are over.
Yeah.
You know, that can cause some feelings of sadness or whatever. So yeah, it's interesting.
So let's talk about mood. Where does mood fit in as a product to help support or to help provide some support, some type of support for some of the symptoms that you just described?
You know, it's amazing, and Dr. Andrea can speak more to this and to the studies, but you know, I have to be honest, and of the 3 self-performance, mood was not the one that I initially was attracted to.
Yeah.
I'm a high energy person, so of course energy and the mind for cognition and all. But the mood has become actually my favorite, and because of some of the ingredients in it, because it really does affect mood. There's things in it like GABA that people are maybe familiar with, and tyrosine, which is a precursor to dopamine, ashwagandha, that's so huge right now, everybody's talking about it because it's for oxidative stress. And then there's saffron. And honestly, I have a husband who's from Spanish descent. We use saffron in our paella, and I was like, what's saffron doing in there? You know, I just had no idea that it had all of these different benefits, health benefits to it, that add to the other ingredients that we have to help with things like sleep disturbance and mood swings and all sorts of things that women are experiencing. Everybody experiences this, but especially perimenopausal women. So Dr. Andrea, you want to speak to that?
Yeah. Just want to highlight that our saffron is a very, very pure saffron. It's a branded ingredient, so there's a brand behind it, and the brand ran a lot of studies also.
Yeah.
So this is all backed by clinical studies.
Yeah.
Studies that was performed in humans.
Yeah.
There are around 8 studies, 8 clinical studies.
Wow.
That count a total of more than 700 subjects in these studies.
Regarding saffron specifically?
Regarding Afron. Afron
Okay.
is the name of the ingredient, in the branded ingredient. Saffron is the spice.
Right.
And Afron is what it's a registered trademark.
It's the active ingredient, right? Or it's standardized. Saffron.
Yeah. Afron is the registered name of the product.
So let's talk about Afron or saffron as kind of the branded ingredient that we have. Tell us a little bit more. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the properties, some of the benefits that you've identified specifically with that ingredient, and what the studies have been able to yield for us to share and tell people? Because if I'm listening to this for the first time and I'm saying, what is Afron, what is saffron, I'm probably going to go Google it. Mm-hmm. So can you help just give a general overview for people to understand and know what are some of the benefits that they can expect to see from having an ingredient that contains saffron or Afron?
Sure. You want it more specifically to the
that's great.
Our main topic, right? Yeah. All right. So let me talk one benefit that is not related to that, but indirectly it can be, because sometimes when we are in this phase of our life, if we can say that, right? Menopause. So we feel that night sweats, and we have problem sleeping. Afron or saffron will help, and this are one of the clinical studies, will help with this night sweats, with this anxiety feelings, poor sleep quality during the night, and will help and will minimize that. And why? One of the things is because saffron naturally will increase our melatonin.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we used to, I mean, people used to take melatonin to sleep, to go to
Still
bed.
do.
Yeah.
Right? Still do. Yeah. But the problem is that when you take melatonin, is a hormone. So when you take this melatonin, your body will get used to that. And with the time, it will kind of be, the production of melatonin will be compromised.
Yeah.
This is a negative feedback.
So-
Yes, it's a negative feedback. With saffron, what happens is that it will naturally increase the production our self melatonin.
Okay.
So with that, it will help with the quality of sleep and with the anxiety, because if you don't sleep, you get anxious. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
So it will help with all this combined feelings.
So it helps promote sort of the activation of your body being able to generate the necessary support to help
Yes.
you fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these studies actually, and they're all placebo-controlled,
Right,
double-blinded
right.
studies. So
They are
Um,
all public. Sorry,
no.
they are all public. They are all publication on PubMed.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's-
I'm looking through all my notes here
Yes,
because
you have your notes.
I wanted to
It's
make
the-
sure that I was educated as we went into this topic, and I think, you know, as I speak about this, it's something that it's super important for us to get it right and convey the message clear to people. But yeah, I see that there's several studies, and as Dr. Maureen mentioned, you know, there's studies that show the significant improvement through the use of saffron.
Right.
Yeah.
So it helps the quality of sleep compared to having it before. So the double-blind studies that they're doing is they're taking two groups and being able to separate them without them knowing who's consuming
Right.
the placebo versus
Right.
the
Right.
saffron.
they look
right?
exactly alike.
Yeah.
They take it at the same schedule.
Yeah.
And then they look at the results. So it's fascinating. And you know, just to speak a little bit to the fact that this saffron is in our product, saffron is one of the most precious spices there is. And I was reading it takes 1,000 flowers, because it's the little stamen, and the flower only makes 3 of them, and takes over 1,000 flowers to
Wow.
get 1 ounce of saffron. And here we have like this high grade brand, Affron, that's standardized for the active ingredient in our product.
Wow.
So ASEA has spared no expense here.
Yeah, that's my point, because we can buy saffron anywhere, even in the supermarket.
Yeah.
Right? But ASEA didn't worry about saving whatever,
Yeah.
right? But ASEA wanted to have the best ingredient, and Affron is the best ingredient because it's very, very pure. It has clinical studies behind it. Those studies are published in scientific journals.
Yeah.
Those journals are peer-reviewed, meaning that there are other scientists that it's not related. There is no conflict of interest that review those papers, review those studies. So it's high-quality ingredient in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and I think that's what, the more, as I mentioned at the start, the more I learn about these products, about these ingredients, is we use premium ingredients in every element of the product, and it's very targeted, is kind of layman's term. I don't have a medical background, but I like to think of it as very targeted type of ingredients that are providing a very specific response or benefit to the human body. So it's impressive to me. Let's talk a little bit about GABA. Can we talk a little bit more about that and kind of tell us a little bit about what it's been known to do or be used for?
Yeah, GABA regulates mood.
Okay.
It's like the break, we call, because when you're very excited and get those feelings of anxiety very high,
Yeah.
Calms the
level.
brain down.
Yeah,
Okay.
GABA will bring it down.
Through the same function? Is it through the same function where it basically promotes your brain to kind of do this behavior on its own? Is that what it's doing as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the other one?
It's a redox ingredient. GABA.
Yeah. I have it here on my notes. The other one you had mentioned, Dr. Maureen, tyrosine?
Tyrosine?
Tyrosine. Let's talk a little bit about that. See, I'm learning as we go.
Well, it actually also helps with anxiety and stress. And both of those ingredients, as well as the rhodiola, help with oxidative stress and overall stress that we're feeling. So they're going to give you that feeling of calmness. And that's, when I was first taking the mood, those were the things I was looking at. The vitamin B5, the ashwagandha, the GABA. I was like, oh, okay, this makes perfect sense. And then there's saffron. And I was like, what in the world? So it's amazing. All of these work synergistically to kind of bring us down, to relax, and keep that overstimulation of the brain that some people experience when they're trying to get to sleep. So it's going to quiet that down. And then, of course, the melatonin is going to kick in. And we've also heard that it helps with cortisol levels, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So many different factors helping on that same level.
Well,
the tyrosine is also a redox ingredient.
you keep plugging those redox ingredients. I love it.
I
I love it.
that.
Please do every time.
Told you that my new passion.
Yeah, exactly. I wanna touch on a couple things. We have some product claims in regards to these products. No artificial flavors, no artificial colors, no artificial sugars, no artificial preservatives. How do we do that? How is that accomplished?
Henry is a fantastic formulator. So we work hard with him to get all those no thank you things out of our products. We don't want this. We want to be clean.
Yeah.
And I think that's the what the world wants.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you see a shift from consumers to look more and more towards those cleaner ingredients over and over.
Yeah,
this is an incredible product that will yield for that. I mean, it literally, to me, it screams out everything that you would look for when you're looking for a product that provides you with all the benefits combined into one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing.
I have this habit. When I go to the supermarket, I read the nutrition facts.
Yeah.
And I look for things that are good for our body, that doesn't have added sugars and all those things that we know that it's not good for our body.
Well, and I think more and more people are moving in that direction. The reality.
Oh, I think so. I mean, we live in such a toxic world that people are not looking to add anything else in.
Yeah, we already have enough from
the
environment,
enough,
right?
Yeah, that we can't control. But one thing I do want to say, because I did talk to Henry about this, is that it says no artificial flavorings. And sometimes, some companies will kind of, have some synthetics and they're like, oh, they're not artificial, and they really are. Ours actually come from fruit.
Yeah.
The flavorings are from the fruit themselves,
Yeah.
which is pretty amazing. So
Yeah, and kind of at a high level to add to that, as the more I sat with Henry, is there is sort of a threshold that certain companies kind of mask having artificial flavors. Can you touch on that a little bit? Just kind of tell us, what does that mean? Like, it's a threshold of quantity that they can get
Yeah,
through?
there's a percentage that regulatory wise they can add.
Yeah.
And it's still natural flavor,
Yeah.
but it's not
It's
because
not.
there is like a minimum amount, a minimum percentage, but ours is 100% natural.
Yeah,
There
100%
is none of this little amount that is added.
Yeah, I think
feel good about it.
Yeah, that's a great point to bring up. I'm super glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So, as we're getting this segment has actually flown by, so I'm super intrigued. I'm learning a lot. If I'm in a position or I'm entering this stage of menopause or perimenopause, not me.
If you are, we'll write it up.
Not me specifically, but our listeners, our audience, viewership, or anybody who's just kind of coming across this podcast. Can you kind of just give us an overview? Why should they consume this product?
For so many reasons. First of all, sleep is paramount to health, and this is going to help you get a good night's sleep. Regardless of whether you're a man or a woman or whomever, if you really value sleep, and we all should. And we talk a lot, especially with our products, about how they make us, they help with beauty, and sleep adds to beauty too, and so that's so important. But especially if you're a female, especially if you're going through some changes, some hormone fluctuations, that it can be very uncomfortable. And to have something that is natural and healthy that is going to assuage that a little bit or make it a little bit more comfortable, and we will only know with time. We have the studies that show that they've used these products, especially the Afron, and have had positive results from it. So we'll hear from our people, but the ones who are using it already are already talking it up about how much better they feel, about how their anxiety levels, their calmness is improved, their sleep is improved, their mood is improved. I guess that's where they got the name. So, if you have somebody in your life who needs a better attitude, who maybe needs to bring it down a little bit, let them have it. Like I said, this was the one I was not attracted to, and it's now my very favorite.
I love the taste.
I love the taste.
I love the taste. I don't know why. I
It's
love it. It's one of my favorite tastes.
Can I touch on my
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Just to be clear that all these studies that are on saffron, they have certain quantity of the compound, of the ingredient that is used to reach that function.
Yeah.
Our product matches this amount.
Yeah.
So not only saffron, but all of the ingredients, they are backed by clinical studies, mood, energy, and mind. All of the studies that are that are clinical studies,
Yeah.
they have
therapeutic amount.
their
Well,
yes,
I guess we can't say
yes,
that.
we can say that. But the right amount
Yeah.
that is necessary to play that X function.
Yeah.
So that's what we have in our product.
So
So the same with Afrin. We have the right amount that matches all the studies.
that's incredible. So every claim or every reference we're making to some of these studies, we have matched the dosage or the amounts,
Yes.
the quantities, to ensure that we adhere to the same or similar outcomes. That's incredible. That's phenomenal. Well, I want to congratulate you and the rest of the team, the science team,
Yeah.
and everybody that's a part of that for being able to put these products together and really deliver premium quality ingredients along the way while providing kind of the optimal benefits to them. So thank you so much for doing that, Dr. Maureen Hayes.
My
Thank you for
pleasure.
being with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I forgot to mention part of our medical professionals board, so thank
I
you.
forgot to mention it.
Thank you for being a part of that and always contributing and adding value to what we're doing here at the organization. Dr. Maureen Hayes, thank you for being with us. These 27 minutes flew by, but I'm so thankful and so grateful for both of you for taking the time to do that. So thank you.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thanks.